Todd Talks.
When it comes to AI, I think most people freak themselves out unnecessarily. I talk a lot about this, but I just want to talk a little bit about AI, in the creative aspect, or creative and marketing and branding and advertising, all the stuff I do professionally. How it really is. How is AI, and what impact it has on creativity and imagination. And I think it's about a balance. It's definitely a balance. But the first thing I'll say is that if you're into creativity and graphic design and advertising and marketing, or you're hoping to hook up with somebody that's creative and help you with your business or your product or your brand, just think about AI as just one of the many tools. It just happens to be a very powerful tool right now, front and center. Years ago, there were things like Google Glass, where you wear these glasses with information on them, and it didn't take off. A lot of technological things come and go, and a lot of technological things are here to stay. And AI is just another term for, again, it's artificial intelligence, for those of you that don't know that. And it's been around for a very long time. We've had Google. What is Google? It's a search engine, right? That's artificial intelligence. It's searching the World Wide Web or the web for information, right? Or AI, artificial intelligence, would be like, I remember when I was a kid, we had this, it was a calculator or something. It looked like an owl or something, and it would talk to you. It would tell you answers to problems. You'd give it, you'd spell out a word and it would tell you something, right? That's AI, that's artificial intelligence. It's not real intelligence, it's a computer telling you something, right? That's all this is magnified. So we don't have to freak ourselves out, but we do have to take it seriously, and I encourage people to use it wisely. I've seen it run people out of business. I've seen it help people in business. I personally have been using it for years. In fact, I use AI as a creative professional to help provide high-end creative services to be more affordable and a hell of a lot faster than I used to be able to, because that's what a lot of businesses need now. There's no need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a website when I can use AI as a tool to tell a client that I can help them create a website for a couple of $1,000s instead of $20,000. I can use AI tools to create projects and multiply those projects in a major way. And that's all I want to sort of suggest to creative types out there, or businesses that are interested in AI, is it's important to work with creative people, creative agencies that are willing to accept it as a tool to help use it to your advantage. So if you're a business and you're hoping to, let's say you want to rebrand, let's say your brand isn't working so well since COVID and you've had some problems in business, well, you want to work with an agency, a creative agency or marketing agency that focuses on coming up with a good solution on how to get your business up and running way better than it used to be, just like what I try to provide. But also that they're not afraid of AI. They're using it as a tool, because you need AI to implement certain things. You don't have to do it, but it's certainly it's kind of like saying, I want to bring my car to a mechanic, but I don't want them to use any electricity. I want them to use old hand and chisel tools. How ridiculous that sounds, right? No, you want your car fixed. You want it fixed well in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable amount of money. Well, it's no different in the creative realm with marketing. And AI is just another tool, more technology that can and should be used wisely, used creatively. But you are the creative person or the marketer, you're in the driver's seat. You need to control that. Because, remember, when it comes to branding, AI and search engines and the likes will have a lot of good ideas, but they're generalized based on a lot of different criteria. What it's lacking is the human heart and the human experience, the emotion, right? Because if I meet you in person, you're going to get a whole different vibe than you listening to me right now, right? Things change when you're in person. And that's just an important distinction, is remember always that you are a human being with a human heart and a human soul and a human spirit that well, I shouldn't say human spirit because we don't know what the spirit is, right? But nonetheless, you're all these parts that aren't robotic. They're not computerized, although we're getting closer to merging them. But right now, we're still human beings, and we have to employ that human nature and human kindness and empathy and apathy and passion and commitment and all those juicy, wonderful qualities that make us human beings. We need to employ that and apply that to our creative services and our marketing services. Really, really important. And that's what I've done for years, and it works very, very well. And I'm recommending to you, the creator or marketer, if you're listening to this and you happen to have those skills, to use it wisely. Well, what does that mean? What the heck does that mean, use it wisely? Well, that means that you use it regularly, but don't abuse it. You don't overuse it. You don't use it all the time and make it do the work for you. Let me give you an example. Let's say I want to do a social media post for somebody. Well, I might use AI to say, can you help me, give me some ideas on what other companies are doing that are similar to this business that do social media posts, and what are some of the top hashtags? But don't just let it write it for you. Look at that and then ascertain yourself as to what you think is best for your client for that post. And by the way, not a single post. You need to do a lot of posts. And the reason is because it's easy for it to decide, but I'm telling you through experience, it comes up with the best it can, and a lot of it is mumbo jumbo. A lot of it is incorrect. Sometimes you rely on human intuition. I can't tell you how many times I've changed, for example, text or hashtags that AI creates, and I've seen dramatic results because of that human intuition. Very important to understand that, because there have, again, through experience, I've seen times where I go ahead and I use AI to say, hey, do this, and it does it, and just generating little to no results, and it can be really frustrating until eventually I say, wait a second here, let's rethink this. Let's try to do it this way using human intuition, and it changes quite a bit. I've seen the numbers. I've seen it happen quite a few times, enough times to know, okay, this is why I want to do this, more of these talks actually, to talk about this stuff, because it really has a tremendous impact on the outcome. So, bottom line is using AI as a tool, a wonderful, potentially wonderful, modern technological tool that can really help you craft your business, craft your marketing campaigns, craft your messaging, just about anything there is. But just like anything, don't abuse it. You could abuse electricity. You could abuse the car you're driving. You could abuse, I don't know, a fun weapon. Let's say you're a martial artist and you want to practice nunchucks. You could use it to hurt people, or just use it to advance your skills and learn dexterity and flexibility. There's always a way to abuse tools and abuse things. So don't abuse AI, but embrace AI and see how you can use it. Be creative. But remember always that you are in control. You're in the driver's seat. You're the one that ultimately has the intuition and the capability of making distinctions and decisions based on that, on your human-heartedness and what your spirit says, what your soul says, what your experience says. You're the one at the end of the day that people are going to be the creator, the creative, to come up with some kind of concept. Otherwise, just go to AI, have them do it. Man, it's totally different, because you're the person, we're the people that have to meet with other people. We're the ones that shake the hands, that smile at one another, that have a conversation with one another. We're the ones that exchange for goods and services. I'm the one that goes into a coffee shop and buys a coffee and gives the money for the coffee. And I go specifically to Starbucks, let's say, and I get a coffee because I like that kind of coffee, right? We're the ones doing that. We are the people doing that. So technology like AI might know some of the ins or outs based on information, and criteria and communication via the airwaves, right? But they're not the ones. It doesn't, by the way, it doesn't truly exist. There's no AI thing. You can't carve out an AI, right? You can say, well, duh, Todd, it's a computer, it's a algorithm. Those are all things. Those are all concepts and ideas and systematic approaches to how the process might work. But you can't, just like you can grab an apple and give it to me, you can't grab an AI and give it to me. So keep that in mind. It truly is artificial. It doesn't exist. We exist. So it's important to understand that, and it may help you understand why it's important that you drive the ship. As they say in Jaws, Hooper drives the boat, Chief. But you drive the boat, you're the creative, you're the marketer, or you're the business or career professional, or maybe you're a startup that wants to really get things cranking along. You're a human being. That's your task, that's your responsibility. So use AI as a tool, a valuable, wonderful tool. Don't abuse it, don't overuse it. And to be honest, it's a small part of the puzzle. It's a small, very small part. Trust me, because at the end of the day, a brand doesn't exist or not exist because of AI. A brand or a product or a business or service or whatever exists, even a church for that matter, it doesn't matter, nonprofit, a school, they don't exist because of AI. They exist because they're just a really good product or brand or otherwise that is in high demand, that people really want. And it's something to really understand, and that's why it's important to have these conversations and work with like-minded professionals. So give it a try. Think about how you can use AI as a simple tool, but it is not the be-all and end-all. It never has been, and it never should be. I'm Todd, a lifetime artist and passionate creative professional with over 30 years of incredible experience. A wellness, martial arts, Zen, and spiritual teacher, imaginative entrepreneur, and honored husband, father, and grandfather. I'm driven to helping others achieve their personal, professional, and spiritual best. You can find me online at toddschen.com or mitchellcreativegroup.com. Thank you.